Skip, the Lakers' defense in the fourth quarter was sensational. They held the Warriors to 35% shooting from the field, 22% from the three-point line, and they only let them shoot 3 free throws. I thought their defense picked up. And as Jen mentioned in the read, it was Lonnie Walker IV. He was sensational. And Skip, we saw a little something. Remember, we talked about him.
Is that his name? I didn't know that was his name.
That's all I had for him. That's all I had.
Wow.
But Skip, we talked about him on Monday. I said, Skip, you see how Lonnie Walker IV coming there? He had fell out of the rotation, wasn't getting but some little mop-up minutes, but he came in and shot the ball well. And I was like, well, okay. And then you saw him a little early in the game. I was like, okay, I guess they like what they saw. And when they inserted him in the late in the third and in the fourth quarter, he came out, hit that 3 to start the fourth. I said, man, he got his confidence. The way, Skip, you could tell the way he was running down the court.
I agree.
Chest puffed out. I said, okay, we might be on to something. And you saw the guys like, okay, Lonnie, do it again. Can you do it again? Do it again. Look, I think the thing is with Steph, they hounded Steph. Nobody else really was willing to step up and take a big shot. Clay was, Skip, did you realize they took 17 shots in the fourth quarter? Steph took 11 of them. So basically, they hounded Steph. Dennis Schroeder does as well a job as you can. Austin Reeves take him some. Jerry Vanderbilt takes him some. That play that AD at the end of the game reminded you a lot of the championship game, the finals against Kevin Love. Yep. Remember how Steph was out there dancing on Kevin Love, and Kevin Love was right there with him step for step, got an opportunity. I'm going to say the Lakers won this one, Skip, because the execution down the stretch, and it was from an unlikely source. If AD or LeBron does this, they're supposed to. They're the two big guns. Yep. But when you get the unsung guys, a guy that really came out of nowhere, because if you look at it, he had 23 playoff points. And you look at the last 2 games, how many points does he have? And so, Skip, for me, I'm going to say they executed down the stretch, and they won this ball game. And it's been somewhat different. You remember one time it was Rui Hachimura, and you get Austin Reeves, and now you got Lonnie Walker. Yep. So I like what I'm seeing, but I'm going to say the Lakers won it more so than the Warriors lost.
Okay. All right. I first want to give it up to Lonnie Walker IV, a former San Antonio Spur who was the 18th overall pick in the draft.
Thank you for giving me to us.
He's had some personal issues. Maybe we'll delve into those deeper today or tomorrow later. But the point is he has worked through those, but he couldn't work through them while he was still a Spur. So he was there for 4 years, and they finally said, no, not going to work here. They're starting over, as you obviously know. And you were able to get him on the cheap for about $6.5 million for 1 year. He's got the option on next year. We'll see where he can be free if he wants to be. And so we'll see how this plays out. Right. But I loved what he said after the game, because he said, at the end of the day, I am a role player. So he has accepted his lot in life. He's a role player. So
acceptance is the key to life.
It is, because if he had come in here saying, hey, I'm better than this guy, I should be in the starting lineup.
I need minutes.
Then he would have psychologically quit on Darvin Ham, and he would not have been ready to go the way he was in the fourth quarter. And I completely, utterly underline what you said about body language, because he was running up and down the court like, I got this.
Not to cut you off, Skip, but there's a guy on the other side that's probably complaining about minutes. And
Jordan Poole, he wouldn't even talk to the reporters last night because he had his back to them. He answered all his questions with his back to reporters because in the fourth quarter, he played 0 minutes.
And they put him in the game, and you could tell him when they took him out of the game, you could tell the way he's like, I said, they got a problem brewing.
They got
a problem brewing.
Speaking of problems brewing, I'm going to say this again about Golden State. They are the defending champs. They are dynastic. I give you all of that. I have nothing but the highest regard for what they have achieved over the past decade with that core of players, Steph, Clay, Draymond. For a while, Kevin Durant. Something has been afoul this whole year. Something has been off and missing this whole year. That they may have to change voices going into next year. They may have to change Steve Kerr. At some point, they're not hearing what they need to hear, or at some point, they've just sort of hit the dynastic wall, because sometimes you just do. You just run out of gas, because they are doing things that are so uncharacteristically wrong and bad that it's not Golden State that I'm watching in these games. You remember what happened in Game 3, the first of the 2 games at what's now called the Crypt. What happened down the stretch of the second quarter? They're up 11 with 8 minutes to go, They miss 12 shots before halftime. They turn it over 6 times before halftime. They have 3 technical fouls in the last minute of the first half, and they go from up 11 to down 11, and that game was gone and over.
Okay.
What happened down the stretch last night? They go into the fourth quarter. They're up 7 points. To your point, Lonnie Walker comes right in and go boom and hit the first 3. And then LeBron hit a little 7-footer, and then AD has a little feed from LeBron up and under. And all of a sudden you look up and you say, wait a second, the game is tied. And then it teeters and it goes back and forth. And finally, Clay hits a big 3. They finally got one to fall. With 3 minutes left. It fell. And it looked like you were about to fall because they go up 3 points. Mr. Sharpe, what happened to the defending champs from 3 minutes to the bitter end? They unraveled again. They just came all apart at the seams. They played shockingly, uncharacteristically, un-Warriors basketball. Okay. If I could show you what happened, starting with Clay, then Steph, then the 2 turnovers, if we could see this, please. We start with Clay. So he just hit a 3, so he heat checks this one. And this is, you want to talk about that's logo range. That was a bad idea.
I think the clock was running down on that one.
Okay, but then he goes again and he misses that one. And now this is Steph on AD, and AD can really defend on the perimeter, as LeBron said.
That was
they get the rebound, the offensive rebound, and he says, I still got you, and he stepped back. How many of those have you seen him hit?
Yes.
And he misses that one, and then here goes Draymond on the play of the game that they called in the huddle because they had a timeout. I have no idea who he's throwing it to. And then off the jump ball, Steph gets it, and I don't know what possesses him. He just throws it over his head. There's nobody home. There's nobody over there. They have a timeout.
Right.
Okay, so now I'll go back in order. Okay, so we got 2 Clay heat check 3s. He's saying, okay, Steph, you're cold, because he was cold as ice at that point.
Yeah, he's 4 of 11, 1 for 4 in the fourth.
Okay. So Clay says, I got you. I just made one, and then I don't got you. And then we get back-to-back Steph on AD. And as LeBron said after the game, LeBron was singing the praises of AD as the best defender in all of basketball. And you can certainly make a case, because LeBron's case was range, that he can protect the rim as well as anybody can. But once upon a time in high school, he played guard. So he grew like exponentially. And now when he goes out on the perimeter and gets locked with Steph, I don't think he's afraid of Steph, even though Steph should have the advantage on him because he's 6 feet, what do we give him, 6 feet, 10 inches tall and long. But he's got really great feet for a big man. So if any big can bother Steph on the perimeter, I would say it's Anthony Davis. But we are talking about the greatest shooter in the history of basketball. Okay, I got a stat for you. And people say I'm too hard on Steph Curry. I'm just telling you the truth about Steph Curry. In Steph's playoff career, 14 times he has taken go-ahead shots in the final 50 seconds of fourth quarters and overtimes of playoff games. 14 times. He has made 0 out of 14, and 2 more came, as you just saw last night. He is 0 for 14 in those circumstances. Again, you guys in Cleveland came back on them from 3-1 down, obviously, in 2016, in large part because Steph, with 2 of the last 3 in his house at Oracle, came up even smaller than he is in those 3 fourth quarters. He was horrendously bad. And then against Toronto, Kawhi's Toronto, he missed a walk-off shot in Game 6 that could have at least sent it back to Toronto for a Game 7. He has not been big-time clutch, living up to his greatest shooter reputation that he has earned.
I'll concede you that, Skip, but I think the biggest thing is that he's probably done enough damage by hitting heat checks before he gets to the last 50 seconds of the game.
I got no problem with that, and I agree. I'm just saying that there is this glaring deficiency here that reared its ugly head again last night, because he got a reprieve against AD, and I thought he might drive on him because there's still enough clock left that if he made an easy 2, as you know, how did he kill Sacramento in the fourth quarter of Game 7? On Sabonis, he would get Sabonis locked up out there, and then he would just blow right by him and lay it up off the glass. Okay, so then we get to Draymond. They call this play, and Steve Kerr said after the game, we've run it 1,000 times.
And guess who else knew you run it? LeBron.
Thank you. And he said they defended it well. That there are about 4 different options on it, but Draymond wound up in the air with no place to go.
He's under the basket. Shooter does a great job of.
And you could just see Draymond, that look of horror, like, nobody's home, nobody's open. I don't know. I'll throw it to AD.
Watch this. Watch LeBron. Watch what LeBron does.
Yep.
Okay, point. He's AD, go to the corner.
Yep.
Because that's what Draymond was going.
It's the old hammer play to Clay.
Yes.
And you know what? I give you that. LeBron sniffed that one. And yet there's another option of somebody breaking down the lane that you can just dump it to him for a 2.
Call the switch him, Lonnie.
Yes. But everybody played their responsibilities correctly. Nobody left home where they were supposed to be. And all of a sudden, Draymond's up in the air, and he's a smart basketball player. He's a high assist man, right? He's there
once he left his feet at that angle, Skip, because he's up under the basket. It's not like he can throw it back out.
Can't throw it back out.
He can only go one place. AD's cut the lane, cut Clay off in the corner, and LeBron has now taken Wiggins' path to the basket.
Okay.
He's stuck.
All right. So now we come down to the jump ball because AD immediately gets tied up in the corner. So it's Wiggins versus AD on the jump ball. And I thought AD would win it, but he didn't win it because it gets tipped backward, and LeBron's hesitant to jump up in the middle of it.
Because the last thing you want to do is foul the guy.
That is correct. And Steph does jump hard for the basketball and rips it out of the air and comes down. And I don't know what possessed him. He falls down on his back. They have a timeout. He could have called time with, I'm just going to guesstimate, 3 seconds.
Skip, I think, it's like the momentum. It's like when you jump up and catch a pass and the ground causes the ball to pop out. I think the floor caused that ball to pop out.
Well, maybe, but it looked like he thought there'd be somebody over there he could feed it back to, but there's nobody home.
Yeah, because the guy that he looked like the closest to it was Andrew Wiggins, who jumped.
Who had jumped, and there's nobody over there. I don't know, but I was shocked that, and Steve Kerr said, I was trying to call time, but they didn't see it, and it happened so fast. The ball's already loose, and that is ball game, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I just showed you 2 misses by Clay, 2 misses by Steph, Draymond's bad pass turnover, and then Steph's inexplicable throw it back over his head out of bounds. Well, is that defending championship basketball? Well, no.
No. And Skip, if you look at it, the Lakers also took 17 shots. Lonnie Walker took 9 of those. He took more shots than LeBron and AD combined. They only had 5 combined. AD took 3, LeBron took 3, AD took 2. So that's 5 shots. Lonnie Walker took 9 shots. Steph took 11 of their 17 shots. So I think the defense, Skip, you see what happens when you don't let it be a layup line? How many layups through the first 3 quarters did the Golden State Warriors get, Skip? It was GP layup, it was layup after layup. I'm like, well, damn, is this a layup line? Is it an exhibition?
Fair enough. But once again, at the end of this day and night, you beat them at the free throw line once again. Because you went 20 for 20. Way to go.
They needed to go 20 for 20.
They needed to go 20 for 20 because that was the difference on the scoreboard because Golden State mustered 12 free throw attempts and made only 9 of them. Would you believe Golden State's only making 71% of its free throws through 4 games? That's not Golden State, right? They're missing weight. They're 36 of 51. The Lakers are 83 of 103. That's 81%. So you're winning games at the free throw line because you're plus 52 on makes and on attempts and plus 47 on makes. Well, that I can show you the math. That's the difference.
And plus, Skip, what are we doing at the 3-point line? They were 12 of 41. They're still getting up the volume of shots, but they're not shooting the percentage.
Well, they didn't make 21 and 21 as they did at home in games 1 and 2.
We knew if they kept that up, Skip, the Lakers were going to be in trouble. You let a team shoot 7 games or 6 games or how long it goes, if it goes 4 games or more, and they're making 20-plus threes a game, the likelihood of the team that's giving up that 23s winning is not very good. But look, Skip, it's a daunting task to ask Steph, because he got nothing last night from Clay. He got nothing. He got 9 points.
Very little, except Clay made that one shot.
He made that
with
1 3. Outside of that 8 threes that he made, skipping game 2,
8.
He's kind of been relatively quiet.
Well, he does that. He'll have bursts, but only bursts.
Yeah, you hope he don't have a burst the next couple of games. I thought Gary Payton II played well for him, Skip.
They inserted him in the starting lineup.
But that's one thing with Steve Kerr, Skip. He'll try anything. I mean, there's no reason that you look how small they are. You're like, okay, to start JaMychal Green, you said JaMychal Green 6'9". GP the second can't be no more than 6'3", maybe 6'2".
Yeah, he plays big. But
he does. He's a good rebounder, very good defender. And so look how small your biggest guy on the court is, Andrew Wiggins.
It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
But Skip, that's what. But Steve Kerr is able to put a lot of stuff in a pot, mix a lot of ingredients, and make it taste good. Because he went to that depth lineup by accident with Andre Iguodala. He stumbled upon the JaMychal Green by accident.
Yeah.
He tried this. Now, I believe he will come back with this lineup again.
Probably
because
will.
they had some success, Skip, early in the first 3 quarters. They were laying the ball. I'm like, well, damn.
They were up 12 in the third quarter.
You get AD away from the basket, you put him in the high pick and roll, you ain't got nobody to defend the paint.
Okay. Now, allow me to compliment your man, LeBron James. He did step to the free throw line twice with 2:37 left and 1:15 left, and he went bang, 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 bang. He made all 4 of them. They were big.
Well, take the surprise out your boys.
Well, he hadn't. Okay. The biggest 2 came with 15 seconds left, and I'm not sure I would have loved LeBron in that situation. But Lonnie,
I'd have bet the house on it.
Oh, would you?
I'd have bet the house on it.
Then you'd be knocking on my door because you need a place to sleep. Okay. But the point is, Lonnie Walker, of all people, stepped to the line with 15 seconds left, and he made both of them. They were huge. You needed them.
You know what, Skip? I really did doubt. I said, the way he shoot the ball right now, I'm going to be more shocked if he doesn't make both of these, as opposed to if he, that he's. I wasn't surprised, Skip, considering the way he's shooting ball that he made both of them.
Okay. So the only thing that perturbed me about your man LeBron James was, with 47 seconds left, he tried to go dagger, and it was a bomb. It was a deep 3. And he missed it, but he's been...
And spit it out!
Okay, but he's been cold all game again from 3. He made a couple, but he wound up 2 for 9.
Hey.
Okay, so if we look at the series, or let's do this. Let's go bigger. Let's go to the playoffs. LeBron James is now 16 of 70 from 3 for the playoffs. That's 22.9%. That's just pathetic, but they seem to be able to overcome it at the free throw line. For this series, just against Golden State in the 4 games, he's 8 of 29, which is 27.6%. Slightly better, but again, for the whole playoffs, he's sitting at 23%, which he's way better than that. Yeah. He's not a great three-point shooter.
That's Dylan Brooks territory.
Okay, that is way Dylan Brooks. That's Russell Westbrook territory. That's beneath Russell Westbrook.
I would take Russ in the playoffs shooting the 3. He was like 30, 40, almost 40%.
Okay, that is exactly right. So you're able to overcome that. But I got upset with LeBron because either by switch or sometimes by assignment, Steph was guarding him in the 4th quarter, in part because LeBron did something that I did love. He just said, D'Lo, you don't have it going tonight. I got this.
Right.
So in the 4th quarter, he reverted back to playing his natural position. He had the ball in his hands. He orchestrated throughout the 4th quarter. And by the way, in just sheer usage rate, for last night, remember the previous game, LeBron 21. Was way down at 21%. He went all the way up to 31% last night because he played 4th quarter point guard. And D'Lo was way down at 16%.
Yeah, he should have. D'Lo wanted to be Curly Neal. He just wanted to dribble the ball.
Okay, he did. He just didn't have it. That's DAngelo Russell. You can't trust the consistency of him. He'll give you a pop here and there, and he's had a hot hand from 3, but last night I lost touch. Did he do anything?
Bad. No, he did not do anything. He was 1 for 10.
Okay.
He was 1 for 10 from the field.
Okay. 0 for 4 from 3.
4 points.
Okay. All right. So he had one of those nights, and guess what? You won. LeBron was 2 for 9 from 3, and guess what? You won. Shannon, the pieces fit. Darvin Ham, who gets fired every other night on Twitter, he's now the coach of the year because you have a lot of buttons you can push.
Right.
What happens in big playoff games? You know this and I know this, especially when you're at home. You can push a bench button that can win the game.
Yeah.
And he pushed the Lonnie button and it won the game.
Yep.
Okay, Lonnie Walker obviously has superseded now Malik and Troy Brown. So now he's come to the top of the list, right?
And those guys didn't get no action.
All right, and what happened to Phoenix the night before? It's Landry Shamet. And you're like, Landry Shamet? Yep.
It has to be, because if you look last night, we're going to talk about the Heat, you see Strus. Every move that the Knicks tried to counter, he would come back and bang a 3.
Okay, it happens.
So you
know and I know. I'm harking back in my mind to LeBron's first championship, and you remember what happened against the baby Oklahoma City Thunder. It was Shane Battier made 6 threes in Game 2. And then they go home. Mike Miller in the closeout Game 5, he made 7 threes, I believe.
I think he made 1 with his shoe off.
And I believe he did. And remember, Mario Chalmers in Game 4 scored 25 points, but he scored like 12 in the 4th quarter. Well, it just happened. These are role players who have their moment in the playoff sun.
Just one game. I don't need you. I just need you to come up one game. And that's Landry Shamet might not give you another game. He might not.
Yeah.
But those 19 big points that he gave you, Skip, it saved you the other night. And Lonnie Mofo Walker, he saved the Lakers last night. That series is about to be 2-2, them going home, Skip, for Game 5.
It was. Listen, in the biggest picture last night, it felt like the Lakers should have put them away a lot sooner because I didn't sense killer instinct.
No, they were walking the ball. They was playing on. And Skip, you know what frustrates me? They laid the ball and everybody looking around. Well, who? I don't care who man it was.
Yep.
He laid it up.
Yep. Okay. And by the way, AD came to play for a half.
For a half.
And then that was it. Because AD in the first half makes 8 of 12 shots, had 6 rebounds, and he rebounded the ball in the second half, but he disappeared on offense.
I just need to know why they stopped giving him the ball. AD need more than 16 shots.
Okay. I don't know why he doesn't sometimes demand the ball, post up and say, give me the ball.
No, I'm going to, when they call a timeout, I'm kicking over chairs.
Right? Okay.
Man, what's wrong with AD? Give me the ball. That's what's wrong with AD.
Okay. So in the second half, just for the record, to sum this up, Steph Curry went 6 for 19 in the second half. He went 1 of 9 from 3 in the second half. This is the greatest shooter ever. Help me out, Mr. Sharpe. If he makes 2 or 3 more threes, what happens? You're in trouble, right?
But Skip, the man he had 14 assists, 10 rebounds.
No, I got it. If I just glance at the overall stat sheet, it looks like he had a huge Steph Curry.
Right.
Like you've got him as a, top 10 player?
Oh, yeah, he top 10, yes.
Yeah, okay, well, I don't see top 10, but in the second half, he was not top 10, nor was Anthony Davis. But you had Lonnie Walker, and they didn't, and that was the difference. Now you're up 3-1. You good?
No, I ain't good.
Not good?
No. I ain't touching the money. I see the money out there. I got a nice hand, but I ain't touching. I ain't burning the money.
It feels like it's 3.5 to 1.
No, it ain't. Like. It's the first to 4.
Oh, okay.
Because we've seen this before, right? I remember your Clippers had a 3-1 lead against them old Nuggets. What happened? Mm-hmm.
We've seen this before. We're not going to see it.
Yeah, I hope not. I sure hope not. Because you don't need any more material to try to punch holes in LeBron's case. I've made a compelling case that he's the GOAT.
Well, he's not that, but he's got an airtight case. They're going to win this in 5 games.
I already filed a brief with the Supreme Court. I already filed this motion.
Really?
He the GOAT.
Oh, you filed it?
Yeah, man.
That's the only way.
They about to come back in session to hear the case.
Really?
And when they speak, it's final. It'll allow.
Shannon, you can live in your delusion. but again, all I'm going to give you is in 5. That's all I'm going to give you.
Nah, we going. It's good. They ain't winning. They ain't winning the Golden State. They ain't winning the chase.
Yes, they are.
That would be nice.
We will find out Wednesday night, gentlemen.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.